matchup yet this season. As I'm looking,
hey, they could take second. They could, depending on how the rounds go. I do believe they could take second here away from Vanquish Oxygen with this victory.
Oh, August 11th. Okay, mark your calendars. First match of the day will be Rise versus Oxygen. That's gonna be a banger. Oxygen also has to go up against E United too as well before the season is over. But now they have to focus on the Knights, folks. This map number 1, Regency Control, Oxygen Esports versus the Pittsburgh Knights. You're gonna see that first blood going over towards Abolics. Pushyz with a quick nade pickup, and Abolics gets a double. With both of those objectives acquired, that should be a Rose Garden control for the side of Oxygen, and they should get power weapon control as well. But Zoom, he wasn't able to get the M-bar in time. Two beautiful, three beautiful back aims. God. With the support of Rocky behind him. What a clean and flawless initial from Oxygen, because now after winning that battle, they get to take this side of the map and get the spawns and get ready for next.
Hot damn, he's already putting on a clinic to start us off. Already landing the M-bar shots back to back to stun out 2 different members. Rocky going down there is just very, very unfortunate. Zoom's feeling that pressure. Can he stay alive against Monkyz yet again? He gets dropped. M-bar out of play. Wasted frag grenades as well. So this is looking like a good comeback attempt coming back from the Pittsburgh Knight after such a devastating start to the matchup.
I agree with that, Jacob. And the Knights trying to work down towards the spawn, get towards the Rose Garden, but as they're chasing these kills, they're moving further and further away from next. And you're going to see Rocky and Zoom get behind the Knights because they got too overzealous in the moment. But do they buy themselves enough time? They were able to find 1 kill. They're in a 2v3. It's just seconds until they can get the help, get that extra Lancer into the fight. Rocky, oh my God, that shot from Zoom. He won't save, actually he does save Rocky because he brought enough time for the squad to get there. That kill that he got, if he doesn't get it, Rocky surely dies, but instead it's Oxygen still fighting for info. And with all that info, they lock in the hill.
Yep, you can see it. Like we said, Pushyz and Rocky being the kind of co-IGLs of the squad. Abolics goes out a little too far, trying to anchor down that spawn. Gives up the spawn point towards the bottom. This could be good for Oxygen. He actually gets it towards Abolics. They're going to split up the defensive there. A little bit of a 3v2, but getting crossed to the backside by Raver, Dezonide, Monkyz. Both players are going to get knocked down. Both players are going to get cleaned up. Add Sumuns to the mix as well. 3 players are just taken out, and a big team wipe coming out from Oxygen. Back-to-back hills under their control, and with those eliminations, you're going to see them spread out and try to take control of the next.
Yeah, Zoom has like double the damage of 3 of the members on the side of PK, most in the lobby there. M-bar in the hands of the Knights. It's a rotation coming down low towards gold. Raver will be the top damage stat on the side of PK. Now, the Knights, as they're back towards the spawn, 4 players alive. I don't know if they've identified 3 players in front of them just yet, but that shot grenade was really good there from Oxygen to stop anyone from coming down the stairs. Kills getting traded out. 3v3 currently. PK still 6 M-bar shots to their name. That's a body shot connected. Rocky and Abolics trying to take a quick 2v1, but Monkyz will take one to the grave. He says 2v1. I'm about to make this a 1v1. Can't win it. Kills traded. This is absolute chaos, but it is the Knights in the hill capitalizing on points. Sumuns is going to get pinched from 2 different directions, so he says, you know what, let me go for the flank. Let me see if I can help my teammates get in. Great effort. I'm surprised he didn't take one to the grave.
Just unfortunate decision making by Sumuns. Raver being as patient as he was there, not engaged in any Lancer fights, gets his team to spawn towards the top half of the map with plenty of time left onto this hill for Pittsburgh Knight to fight over. Almost a 100-point deficit to come back from, but Rocky going down is going to open up opportunities, but the eliminations from Pushyz. He gets 2, looking for a 3rd on to Sumuns. He's fighting for his life. He gets 1 though. He's keeping his team in it, but he finally falls. The spawn point at the top though is continuously in favor of the Pittsburgh Knights. If they can figure out a way to push out these devs, stagger out and push Oxygen out, they can win the remaining time left on this hill, but that's not going to be much.
It's not going to be much indeed. The Knights, they're fighting for about 27 seconds, and I think since they're here, of course you fight for it. They need to stop their opponent from getting the rest of this time. They got 2 members down, and the final 2 members of Oxygen is going to rotate up top to statue for next. M-bar spawns in 2 seconds, but the Knights don't even want to play for that scrap time. It says, you know what? We need to rotate now. In the grand scheme of things, that 20 seconds in that team fight that they won, Jacob, they got none of it, and they don't even get the power weapon for next.
Unfortunately, Rocky missing a couple shots there, but not too much. His teammates backing him up, getting the eliminations, and I think that's what they're doing good on the side of Oxygen right now. They're continuously staggering out the deaths, using their numbers advantage time and time again. On the side of PK, somebody falls, as you see Monkyz getting staggered out right now, and somebody usually in the situation gets picked up. Dezonide as well, and there goes Sumuns trying to fight for his life. Big shots being fired between both of these players, but Abolics not backing down, gets another one. PK here, I don't remember the last time they were able to fight S4.
I don't either. Oxygen is so proactive on the map, understanding all of their advantages, no matter how minuscule they are. Rather, if it's rotating for the heal, getting positioning, the power weapon, assessing numbers, rotating for next. Just, it's always something to be done, and every single player is thinking ahead, having great foresight, and adjusting to what their opponent is doing. They're just a few steps ahead of PK, where they're not able to get their footing. Oxygen forcing PK to meet them at their level in the Knights. With this fight being won, it's 18 seconds of scrap time. They still got a lot more work to be done, because ask me, Oxygen ain't slowing down whatsoever. They're just taking the breath away from the Knights.
Yeah, you can see it already. Their game plan, their mindset just not being affected, win or lose any of these fights. If they get taken out plays, they spawn right back up and they get right back into the action, not wasting any time here, because they're just confident in their gameplay. On the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, you can see them stalling, you can see them stuttering, second guessing their decisions, and trying to be heroes at the end of the day. And that's not how you win these fights. It's not a hero effort. It comes down to teamwork, and right now Oxygen is using their teamwork to make the dream work.
Oxygen with a nice setup here at Fountain. We got a player watching a top lane route from statue and a back spawn, and they got a player watching inner stairs with 2 on a hill. You see multiple red marks. Oxygen is communicating the foresight there, because they can see where the push is grouped up at. They buy themselves 10 extra seconds, allow their teammates to shift over with that shot grenade, makes that push that much more difficult for PK. But with a main advantage in the M-bar at the back lines, they missed the second shot. Rocky evens the odds with a blind fire over the top. Monkyz gets the double. PK can collect off 35 points of time, which is much needed for him. But Oxygen past the 200-point marker. They're thinking about next right now, as they got a few players rotating towards couches.
Yep, doing a good job here of inching themselves back into it, but not about inches at this stage in the game. Tripled up on the scoreline. It's about miles. What more can you take? Raver trying to get that early damage out onto one of the opponents of Oxygen. I do believe that might have been Abolics, but finally I see them slowing down, using this moment, especially as you have 10 seconds before the hill rotates. Someone's getting that shot grenade as well. It needs to come down to a team play effort. Nobody can stagger. Nobody can try to be the hero in the end. This is where it begins, with a shot grenade towards the backside.
Sumuns trying to get as much info as he can. He gets this one lined up. He's going to trap Rocky in the back. He's out in the open for the M-bar. Sumuns didn't get his help in time. 3v3. Actually, I'll take that back. It's a 3v2 in favor of the Knights. Pushyz evens the odds, and he's going to stay back here, looking for one more good back A. Couldn't dodge Dezonide for long. Dezonide gets cleaned up, and this engagement is still continuing. Coming down to a 1v1 with Zoom. That will be Oxygen winning the hill. As you're going to see, they get the close spawns at gold, and it's a quick rotation up top to fortify, as the Knights is going to... Do they get another M-bar? Yeah.
They're going to get an opportunity, especially with the frag grenades as well. They just overextended onto that hill. They kind of had that moment there, but just biting off too much more than they can chew. Dezonide was that player I'm talking about there, but a nice M-bar shot from Dezonide to answer the call. Down over the cover as well. Another one on the Pushyz. They're doing a good job of fighting back here late into this one, but they still have over 127 points to overcome. You see Abolics and Zoom doing the brunt of that damage, but PK, their damage is rather close. They're using a good amount of teamwork, but they're just not consistently winning the team fights.
Yeah, they haven't been able to. And then when they do win some fights, Jacob, they don't got a lot to work with right after. The power weapon battles that they're winning, yeah, they get them, but at the same time, by the time they're even utilized, it's scrap time and Oxygen is already rotated for next, and you got one shot left in the M-bar to really fight for the majority of time that you need, because you want an early setup, or you need to set up early and use the whatever ammo you have for defense. So that's what that one M-bar shell is going to be used for, defense. We'll see if they can connect with it. Monkyz finds a kill towards the middle stairs. He's looking for one more, misses the wrap shot, misses the second one as well. Now here, shock grenade to block off the middle lane. Some revives are going to need to come through here for PK in just a bit, but they won't happen. It's Oxygen suffocating PK here at the back of the Rose Garden. And so far, it's just been a pretty story for him throughout this entire map.
Yeah, I was just thinking in my head, they're doing a good job on the side of PK of minimizing the point gain coming out of Oxygen, but literally as I thought that thought, Blaze, it just goes right out the window. Oxygen take control yet again, bringing it down below 50 points. They could win on any one of these hills besides the current one, and every point they gain off them just makes it that much easier. Zoom gets a double kill, a trade towards the top. Even though that's going to give up the spawn point to the Pittsburgh Knights, it stalls them so they can collect possible 20 more points off that hill. Rocky getting those frag grenades and spinning the weapons is huge here if they're looking to close it out on this next hill.
And the beauty about when you have a lead like this, you don't show respect to power weapon players, because in your mind, you want the nades to get tossed out as soon as possible, booms and drops to get shot, and you want to force the M-bar player to have to hit difficult shots. You don't play more passively when you have a lead like that and your opponent kind of gets those weapons. You still got to keep fighting with confidence, because the more time you give anyone at this level to really set up on defense and think about how they want to defend against you and give them times to counter your plays, it's going to be all bad. And so multiple players from the Knights trying to rush through. They find a kill. Kills traded off. 2v2 here on the hill. Still one down in the back, turned into a 1v2 for Monkyz. And that's a team wipe on the side of Oxygen. Lock-in map number 1. They strike first.
That's just unfortunate at the end with his teammate going down. He couldn't leave the hill. He couldn't leave the hill to get the revive. It was all or nothing for PK, and Oxygen just suffocates the competition. Always one step ahead, and 18, almost 19,000 damage for Zoom. Just putting on a clinic.
Really, bro? 18K? Wow. Abolics and Pushyz with a lot of ejected kills coming in from their way. Just a lot of fighting in that hill. Zoom running around the map, picking up double kills, winning big 1v1s, getting the power weapons. He was doing everything that he needed to do to make his teammates' jobs easier, either if they were rotating or defending. Zoom was a big portion of all of that. He was doing it all. So good job to Oxygen in map number 1. But man, what could the Knights have done better there, Jacob? Was it fighting together? Was it the early rotations? Was it power weapon control? Because the Knights as a control squad in general, they haven't looked too hot. I think they may have won one control map in the league.
I think it's just their teamwork and how they're working well together. You see so many different moments, yeah, where they can kind of come together as a team, but more often not, they're getting staggered out. They're working as individuals. Players just getting a little bit over aggressive, a little bit too greedy. It just seems like they have to figure out a way to slow the game down while still moving as fast as possible. What I mean by that is when you have those opportunities to kind of slow it down, sacrifice 4 seconds, sacrifice 10 seconds to win the entire team fight overall, and you going as fast as you can once you realize you have the numbers advantage, you have the weapons advantage, that's where you got to be able to capitalize. Oxygen, Vanquish, Rise even are these teams time and time again on control. They just attack. They just attack over and over and over, win or lose, and their game plan does not change throughout the course of the game. But the thing that they do right against some of these other teams is they're using all of their teamwork. They're making sure that they're working as 4-man units.
Yeah, you really have to wrap that aggression around with some teamwork there if you want to be successful here in control, because it's nice to have the foresight and be aggressive. It's nice to have great foresight and be aggressive, but you need to know the right times for each one. And that's where the foresight comes in, because, you know, if you're about to win a hill and you got an antsy 1v1 player on your team, and this is, you know, almost scrap time left, you could send him off to go rotate early. Say, go find a fight, bro. Go get to the next hill. Go scout. You know, keep him busy there on the back end. And, you know, that's kind of like what Zoom was doing in this one. He knew that he had the anchors around the hill and his teammates were where they need to be. But he can start thinking about next, think about power weapons, float around the map, be sneaky, and find those advantages. So good job to the Oxygen as a whole in that first map. But let's start focusing here when it comes down towards the execution. We're going over here towards checkout Canals. And when it comes down to it, I know the Knights haven't played it all split, and Oxygen is going to be 1-1 on this map. So we'll see who is going to have a leg up. But I think the Knights in general just have a leg up across execution as a game mode. It doesn't even matter the score count. When it comes down to the series, I think I have to lean heavily in favor towards them.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly beginning to kind of think that same way Oxygen right now. And not only just right now, even though I'm saying that, but in this matchup against Pittsburgh, they're controlling almost every single occasion. I could be wrong, but on control, I don't think there was a singular hill where the Pittsburgh Knights scored more than 30 points on a single hill. There's 75 on a hill, so coming up short every single time. And you got to think that same sentiment. They were leading the charge on a lot of these plays around the map. The same can be said on Canals. Expect for some trick straps to come out of Oxygen, some 4 down lows to target those players into the water, try to capitalize on maybe being that first player to go on towards the middle bridge. There's no snipers, like you and I both know. You can't sit back and try to hit those players onto the middle bridge. So you have to make sure if you're going different routes, going up top, going down low, that your teamwork is going ahead and reflecting that, giving up the top when you get overtaken at the bottom, so on and so forth.
And I do want to clarify, because I think I may have said it too quick and said the wrong team, but it is the Knights I'm favoring there towards execution. And but as you said, everything you said about Oxygen was still valid across the board. But when it comes down towards the round-based game modes, if the Knights want to have any chance of success at coming away with the summer major title, they have to be a top 3 team in execution and escalation, without a doubt. It's without question. The respawns, they can have their toss-ups and they can go 50-50 there, but if they can be great at games at maps 2, 3, and 5 in a series, the Knights will be a fearsome team. So I want to be able to see that come here into this execution map, which we're about to watch. They haven't played it towards the Pro League. They haven't played it in a Pro League. It is a 1-1 record for Oxygen, but I know it's going to be Raver and Dezonide. They're fighting for that mid bridge at that headbutt engagement, fighting for the nades. And they're really good at fights like that. And they're going to have to play at their best against Oxygen, because I know it's going to be Abolics there at that mid bridge.
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's one of those things where I said, like, on the side of Oxygen at the very least, they're lose 2 straight rounds, lose 3 straight rounds. They're going to play every single round the exact same momentum with the exact same intensity. They've gone this far, this much damage into the Pro League throughout some of these teams. At one point, they were even undefeated. I think that's what they can kind of set their hat on, is they're usually the first ones to make a move. They have their strategy. They have their game plan set in mind, and they don't follow it. It's like investing in stocks. You have your game plan, how much you want to invest, when to pull out of that stock, and you stick to it. That's exactly what Oxygen is doing. And when things don't exactly go their way, they do a good job, Pushyz and Rockies, of controlling the team and making something out of nothing to try to keep these rounds alive.
Yeah, making something out of nothing. And I think everyone on Oxygen, they have that little skill set, because, you know, we watch Zoom there in the control, and even not just that respawn, but in all respawns he play, he is on an island, and, you know, he goes from island to island, 1v1 to 1v1, objective to objective on his own, winning big battles at times. And with Pushyz, Abolics, and Rockies filling every gap on the map, man, this Oxygen team, man, this is a good squad. Whoever put this one together, man, how these boys came through, they did a good job with this roster. But, you know, they still got a lot of work to do if they want to be champions here when it comes down towards the year's esports. But they're on the right track, folks. They are on the right track. As we're about to head here into Canals, it's Oxygen versus the Pittsburgh Knights. The Knights, they need to get on a better track, because the direction in which they have been going, you know, it's not indicative of their past success. And well, that Dezonide looks like a better direction. I'll take it back.
Already,
just give it one more.
Ooh, almost gets the splash damage as well. That could be a possible game-saving opportunity, allowing Monkyz to get that space. More splash damage, picking up another one, and there goes the final elimination. 33 seconds as Abolics falls in the end, and the tempo has been set by the Pittsburgh Knights. They go ahead and give up that mid-bridge control, get that torque bow, and put it to use in the very first seconds.
Wow. Well, that's a great first round there for the Knights, and that's how you set the tone. I love how they got the torque bow, and I want to say they pushed forward. They pushed forward through towards their opponent's side.
Set it back.
Was able to get those kills. Let's see how they want to open this one. Dezonide here at the apex of the fight. He hops up, double backs down. He doesn't see the player to his right, but no point blank shot comes through. No chunk. The revive is there, and as long as Dezonide survives, it's a win here for Oxygen. But he continues to back up. Oxygen looks back. Sorry, PK looks back. They was able to get the kills there in the water. Fantastic round there for the Knights, and it all came down because Dezonide did not get chunked there.
Yeah, I don't know who that was with Dezonide there, keeping him alive. He died for a good cause, keeping him alive. Monkyz getting a double kill as well. And that's one of the things that, it's not all about elimination. It's all about damage. Sometimes you make a play that is just very, very negative on the stat line, but it's a game-winning opportunity, keeping somebody alive like that. Pittsburgh Knights, before you know it, up 2-0 over Oxygen here. And you can already see a very, very similar strategy coming through. They're going to go ahead and give up that middle bridge to Abolics and play for down low. But Dezonide, he catches Abolics slipping, gets first blood, takes out the nade player as well, but answered back is going to be elimination from Pushyz.
Yeah, Pushyz and Zoom has been doing a fantastic job reacting to both these fights, but 1v1, Zoom and Monkyz. Zoom, not quick enough as Monkyz punches them in the chest. That's a 3-0 lead there for the Knights, and a great round for them. Dezonide, going back to it, Abolics gets up on that mid-bridge, but Dezonide wasted no time chasing up behind him to clean up that kill. He didn't let him get up there for free, but he also had great timing, knowing when Abolics was about to pick up those nades when he felt comfortable. Dezonide used that timing to get that first blood there, and from there, it just trickled down.
Raver's just putting the team on his back, right? Almost 5k damage, which is almost about 3 kills around so far of damage. Dezonide going for that torque bow yet again. Quickly revived back up by Sumuns. They kind of have their teamwork. They have their strategy. He goes down into the water, cleaned up by Abolics. So first blood to Oxygen, but they've been in this scenario before, Blaze, where they get first blood and they're just unable to execute the rest of the round.
We'll see if that happens, if that trend continues. The torque bow in the hand of Dezonide, and PK has been doing everything that they can to get that power weapon each round. On the flippy, and Oxygen just wants positioning in the frag grenades. The frags is tossed. He's backed into a corner. He side rolled in the wrong location. And with the torque bow on the ground and Oxygen having a 4v2, it's up. It's the Knights. There's not much they can do here, but they still are fighting. Gonna need a miracle. Nice dodge.
Oh, that was actually good feet work.
Yeah. Oxygen, they finally get themselves on a board. A big round for them. Now, after watching 4 rounds, which one do you think is going to be most important here going into round number 5, Jacob? Control of the torque bow or control over the frag grenades?
I think control over the torque bow, and not necessarily the actual control. It's the amount of plays they actually made for the torque bow where they can smoke it out now, and Oxygen is going to have to be very weary even if nobody is down there on the side of the Pittsburgh Knights because of how often they went for it. On the side of frag grenades, though, you see every step of the way if somebody's going for it, so you can't get caught off guard. But there goes no back down. Oxygen sticking to their strategy, gets the first down and the elimination onto Abolics. That's 3 first bloods in this matchup so far. Pushyz is able to get the grenades. Hey, this is his chance right here. Did he throw the nade? No, he fumbled the first nade. He fumbled it.
Oh my God. But the second one, it still has the opportunity. Beautiful torque bow from Monkyz. They clean up the kill on the ground, and the second nade will not connect. Oh man, it was like a hot potato right there. He couldn't get control over it. And now Oxygen is down in a 2v3. They have the mid-bridge control. PK has 2 torque bows to their name. Oxygen, they're going to spread out and get full control over both connectors. I think that's their best possible play to isolate some 1v1s. If Rocky can draw a few players towards his side of the map, maybe Sumuns or somebody gets lazy on the opposite end. If I'm Rocky, I'm shooting in the air. Like, yeah, we're over here. Yeah, come this way. Woohoo.
Try to bait them in right now.
Yeah, you have to. You'll give Zoom an opportunity for the play. Oh, no, they know where he is. Zoom moved first on that one.
You can already see Raver getting...
Sorry, yeah. Sorry,
from the middle bridge.
First. I keep calling him Zoom.
Yeah, they got that one down. Sumuns, and I do believe, like I said, Raver from that middle bridge. Torque bow in the hands. Rocky's just trying to create some separation with the torque bow, or with the shot grenade, I should say, but gets taken out by the torque bow. Monkyz and PK, after that map number 1, honestly, it was heavily in favor of Oxygen. They're doing a good job of answering back, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. These round-based game modes just gives PK a little bit more chance, opportunity to use the depth that they have in their strategy.
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity to kind of slow the game down and, you know, come up with the perfect play. I have to say, Raver, 7K damage, 7,250 damage, 10 assists to his name, 10 assists. He's playing a support position on Canals as well. I've known a lot of great support players here support their Slayers as they go up to mid-bridge to battle for those nades. And this is where you have to have your pre-fire has to be great. Can't miss some shots. You got to use the entire clip. Raver thought he can get up there first, but he kind of got baited up there. Man advantage for Oxygen. They're going to get the torque bow as well.
Up to Dezonide. Trying to continue to push that player. Doesn't know where everybody's at, but honestly, what more options do you have, Blaze? You got all the damage in the world, just unable to kind of clean it up due to the numbers. 4-2, though. After our first 6 rounds here, I almost want to call this halftime. Maybe 5 rounds is halftime. 4-1 at halftime.
I will say 5 rounds is halftime for sure.
All right.
100%, because the odd round is always going to be on the second half.
So 4-1 into the half. That's what Pittsburgh Knights, 4-1.
All right, 4-1 going into the half here. We'll see if things switch up. After halftime, when it comes down to execution, you have to be collecting intel from your opponent every single round off their initial, and an intel that the Knights collected said that, hey, we can get up to mid-bridge, feel comfortable. The nades go into the water. They come up a little bit short, but Dezonide covers his own behind. Gets first blood. Zooms down there. 1 nade. It cuts off the route, goes far in front. Beautiful placement there from Dezonide. Now, the Knights, 2 more kills away from being at map point.
I almost want to see him not up that cover to see if it helps him survive, but Pushyz gets taken out. Rocky in a 1v4 situation. You have a 1v2 in front of you. You can put that damage out. You know someone's a little bit weak, but over the top comes Raver. And that's what you said. I like that 1-2 punch combo coming out from Raver and Dezonide. All the damage is coming through from Raver, and Dezonide's just coming in, cleaning up any downs, cleaning up any eliminations, or just getting the simple one-shot chunk. Almost 9,000 damage coming out from Raver. And, you know, I almost would call him the tip of the spear, even though he's not getting all the eliminations.
Nah, he is the wood of the spear, okay? He is the majority of that. But the sharp part, the actual spear, the blade of it all, and the sharp thinking of Dezonide playing that position there at the front of the fight, he is changing up where he just went high side this round. This is the first time he's done that. Before, he has went to the nades, he's went to the torque bow. He is keeping his opponent guessing, taking multiple routes to get to this point, while Raver is just being an anchor. He is the only defense that PK needs in his lower lane as he helps get another down. The nades come through. Rocky is next on the hit list. It's a 4v2 on the map. Now a 3v1 is up to Abolics. If Oxygen wants any chance in this map and they won't get it, the Knight says, hey, it's execution. They stay alive in this series and we're all tied up 1-1.
Yep. 6-2 is going to be the answer back from PK. It's not over without a fight. A dominating map 1 coming out from Oxygen. A dominating map 2 coming out for the Pittsburgh Knights. We're all tied up at 1 apiece. Escalation, Control, and Execution are remaining 3 maps. Who will be victorious in the end? Find out after this quick commercial break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Pro League Split 3 Phase 2, day number 9. It's your boys, Guy, Blaze, and Jacob, coming at you guys live here in our last series of the day. Pittsburgh Knights versus Oxygen. We're all officially tied up 1-1. And the first thing that we said coming to this series, Jacob, was that the control game modes, we're heavily in favor of Oxygen. Execution, we're heavily in favor of PK. But when it comes down to escalation, man, which one of these 2 teams take it?
Honestly, it's hard to tell. You got to think it has shades of control, which would go into the favor of Oxygen, but being round base, being able to reset, place different weapons, and kind of change up the map as it goes on, favors the Pittsburgh Knights. I have Pittsburgh Knights in my prediction, so I got to think sooner or later, whether it's 5 maps or 4, the Pittsburgh Knights should take this series, but I think this is going to be the swing map. I think this is going to be the swing map that gives the momentum heavily over to one of these teams. You're going to see that bleed over into district and control, and then it's going to be up to whichever one of these teams to either close it out or make a game-saving, playmaking stop to the momentum and shift it on over to their side.
I fully agree with that one because I don't know how confident I'm in Oxygen to take this Vasgar. They have a better record than PK, and even just to get technical with you guys, when it comes down to it, they beat Rebel 5-4, they beat Elevate 5-3, and that's Oxygen in their victories. But when it comes down towards the night, they just hit a 3-5 loss to Rise, and all the rest of their series have been training grounds out there. Now, I think Oxygen is the better training ground teams between the two, but even forget the stats that's been played this season. Vasgar Escalation has been a staple, or you could say years now, when it comes down towards the esports. And the Knights was one of the most fearsome teams on that map. I don't care, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. So I don't care, what your record is as of late. The Knights know how to play this map perfectly, and they got to tap into that energy today. If not, they lose this map. I don't have faith in the Knights on district control when it comes down towards Oxygen here. Oxygen has been too talented in those game modes, in that game mode, and PK have not been able to find the flow that you need to be a successful control team, to be able to rotate early, play for the power weapons, play your advantages, and play as a team all at the same time. It only seems like they can do at least 2 of those at once, and that's not enough to be successful here at this level. So Vasgar Escalation, I'm a little bit leaned over towards PK, and that actually makes me excited because I still think Oxygen is my favorite to win this one, but that just means that we win going over towards the map number 5, where that sets us up for an exciting checkout execution. But I may be getting too far ahead of myself, but if you watch the last grand finals, I'm usually right on point. Okay. I'm usually right on point.
It is pretty right. That's one of the things I do like about your predictions. And sometimes as outlandish as they might be to some of us that just got to look at on paper, they're not wrong. And honestly, throughout the course of this, like, man, Blake knows what he's talking about. And that's comes through years of experience. I know you've been a professional player, analyst. You got to be a commentator, cast. Heck, you've been one hell of a coach if you wanted to. Any of these teams at the bottom of the rankings, go ahead and hire Blake. Might give you the extra boost you need to not get relegated.
Might give you the right perception you need to make it to the next level there. But, even outside of all of that, I appreciate your kind words, PR, when it comes down to it. When predicting series, it's a lot that goes into it, but it's every day, every day you got to ask yourself recently how these squads have been performing, who's their matchup. And how bad do these players want it? What are they playing for? It's a lot that goes into it, man. It truly is, but it's hard to predict it nonetheless. And for today's matchup, it's 1-1, folks. And me and PR are both on the same agreement that this Vasgar Escalation is going to tell the tale of this tape and let us know who has the best chance of winning this series and come away with it, man. And I'm with you on the Knights for this map.
Yeah, even if the Knights figure out a way to find a way to somehow lose this matchup or this match here at map number 3, coming out on district, they need to have that very, very similar playstyle mentality that you see Oxygen, you see VQ, where they just attack. They just go time and time again. But you got to look at the way that they're doing it. They're usually doing it in groups of 2, possibly groups of 3. They're wolf packing together because even though it may not be the right move to some people, they make it work because they get those quick revives instead of getting lancered out. They make sure that these revives are very, very crucial. And you see it time and time again. That's the difference when they send 2 players over. One team's usually being aggressive. Even though the down comes through, it's usually they get a revive and they continue to brute force their way through, find an elimination. I think that's what Oxygen is really doing right, especially on that first Regency control map. So even though it's going to be a little bit different here on Escalation, timing people out and having that spawn point, I do think they could go ahead and answer the call from the Pittsburgh Knights, go ahead and take this map. But honestly, at this point in time, Blaze, I think you hit the nail on the head to start the show. Every one of these matches are so close, it's hard to tell.
It really is. And you know, we even though the score lines were 3-0s, they were 3-0s in the opposite team in which people favored kind of going into those series, and they were still great maps. So today has been very, very eventful so far, and I think that we haven't seen the best of it yet because there's still 3 more maps left in the day, and that's going to be Vasgar Escalation, District Control, Checkout Execution, and when it comes down to both these two teams, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail to come away with the victory. And so I'm excited to see it, and we're about to see it. Had a little difficulty, little fail jump off there heading into the Vasgar Escalation, but don't worry about it. We'll be hopping back into that one momentarily. But yeah, man, Jacob, so far so good, man. Throughout the day, if it's one thing I guess we can talk about as we're waiting for this map to get started, is with both these squads and their position in the league, and just really the schedules in which they have coming up here. The Knights still have to face up against Elevate, Team Queso, and Rebel. Those are our 3 matches in which I think the Knights can come away victorious with. I think they're 3 must wins for them. They had more of a stacked schedule to kind of kick off everything. And, you know, also they got EU United to play as well. So, yeah, that'd be
Look at that. Oxygen,
that's an interesting ending for them.
Oxygen has EU United later on in this one. They're going up against, I do believe, Team Queso as well and Rise. So Rise and EU United and Noble. So they had 2 possible wins for Oxygen between Team Queso and Noble, depending on how those ones actually play out. But then you go up against Rise and EU United as well. So a lot of these teams, they just have their work cut out for them. But I think if I had to say so myself, I want to say maybe Pittsburgh Knights has a harder road for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, as we're going back towards the end of the season, PK, I agree with you that they have. Actually, no, man.
Maybe similar season.
Oxygen having to go up against Rise and E United there for like top place positions at the back end. That's going to tell us a lot there in those matchups.
Yeah, I think
that's when they're battling for first place and they're battling for some top 4 seeding going into the summer major. Those are ones that I want to pay close attention to because they have steadily and slowly been progressing week in and week out. And we got a whole extra day added to the Pro League. We went from having 10 Pro League days to 15, okay? And so that means we get a chance to watch more matchups, and we got more exciting information. Well, not information, but more exciting action for you guys at home, just like on your screen. So you don't have to hear me and Jacob talk anymore. We know it's what you want. It's what we want as well. It's map number 3, Vasgar Escalation, Oxygen versus the Knights. And kicking this one off is split up into a 2-2, Jacob. Looking like this first bit of action is going to happen on this side of the map. But as I say so, it's a breakout down low. They're trying to rush Rocky. The back A turns and burns for the revive. They hold off. It's Oxygen who put out the damage, and they recover. They recover.
The target selection coming out of it. Who is that? Pushyz on this side of the map. Rocky, they were able to kind of kill the guy reviving. That gives them an extra fraction of a second as the player is still getting up on the revive, that they can create some separation, not give up that one-shot chunk and make it that much easier. Oxygen already taking that loss in stride, forgetting about it like that pitcher's mentality that we talk about, and coming out hot to start this one off. But Rocky goes down. Zoom falls as well. That leaves open the neutral hill on that side of the map, and you see the pressure being felt. Pushyz tries to go in and even things up, but 3 players are going to fall with Pushyz getting taken out, which opens up the Pittsburgh Knights comeback opportunity.
It does, and they have the B hill and their home hill locked in. Currently a 1v2. Rocky's teammates have spawned, and he's got 2 coming up right away, so his initial touch was enough. The damage is there on Sumuns, but Dezonide gets there at the nick of time. Pushyz finally falls. Abolics needs to be the hero, and he cannot. Round 1 victory here for the Knights. They will strike first.
And he goes around the other side. He possibly gets a touch of the reset, but it's also riskier, possibly up ace into 2 different right-hand shot opportunities. A minute and 46 though. Pittsburgh Knights turning that one around. It was looking like a good start for Oxygen in this one. You see the damage coming out from Zoom. They created that mismatch onto the neutral to get that early lead, but PK never back down, never falter, able to steal away that round.
All right, let's see if we break off here into another 2-2. PK did try to make the first initial move on the last side, and he went through towards the tank, but that 2v2 battle was won by Oxygen, and from there they had good control over the map. PK fights back. Now to kick this one off, PK will send majority of their members towards this side of the map, but Oxygen is already assessed. We got a 2v1 for now. Let's get up these stairs, contest our opponent on the high ground, split up into a 2-2. PK will lose Dezonide. A quick double kill coming through. Rockies and Zoom working together very, very well to capture B. But now these final two members here of the Knights have two separate 1v2s that they have to hold off on to buy time for their teammates. And they're going to have three members on top of the home hill of the Knights. Player 2 goes for the 1v1. He gets Botoxed in the face, and that's going to be the Oxygen round.
Yeah, that was a big round there, but they just didn't let PK breathe off of that initially. You saw them off the start on the side of Oxygen send 3 players towards that neutral hill, which caused a little bit of a rift, a rotation to come out, and he immediately went to backtrack on the other side of that fight. And as soon as they were able to get the first down on the side of Oxygen, they kept the cross over the top. They had one player pushed in to finish off those eliminations, and from there, Rocky wasted no time to sandwich the remaining PK players on their home hill. Great execution from Oxygen in less than a minute to answer back.
Heading into this round, got a 3-1 split for the PK and a 2-2 for Oxygen. Last time this happened, the Knights didn't capitalize on having that third guy down low with the tank. They backed up to defend the home hill, but this round they will press forward and get that first kill on the map, and they will acquire 2. Great Lancer Fire coming out from Sumuns. He's able to cut back and assist in the 2v2 as his teammates will wrap the map, play for the trip cap domination. But Oxygen, they continue to apply the pressure, knowing that, hey, we're either going to back up into some Lancer Fire, we're going to push forward and be heroes for our squad, make the play, and they're going to hold the line. A little wiggle waggle from Pushyz, but he goes down. Home hill will be captured back for the Knights.
Yep, you already see the rotation coming through, backing out of their own home hill through the spawn to try to attack this neutral, getting Abolics that retro, but they're gonna have their work cut out from Raver's already sit up to defensively push back any remaining members trying to go on this side of the map. He has the backup from Monkyz as well. So this is where Oxygen, they're wasting a lot of time right now. The 2 hills to 1 against the Pittsburgh Knights, trying to figure out where they want to go. They have the information, Blaze. What do you think they're waiting for?
Man, when it comes down to it, it just making sure that everybody's on the same page. The smoke grenades come out. They will push out that one member, but I can't even say push him out because he gave it up. The Knights had perfect timing on their counter rotation. They never planned on fighting that fight. They were just waiting for the util to get utilized there. And the Knights will have the upper hand at the mid portion of this game. Only one flash grenade on the side of Oxygen to use in whatever next team fight that they have. They have 2 with Rocky spawning up, with Zoom and Rocky. They're trying to move closer to the home hill. I love the Knights setup. They have the best home hill setup in which they can have in the first half, and they just want a little bit more. They're assessing their numbers with 2 players trapped in a corner. Their backs against the wall. Rocky and Zoom, they finally fall, and that's going to be a rotation towards B. The Knights will just continue to rotate this map and keep the lead.
Raver's gonna have to think right here. He knows players are gonna spawn behind him, which is why he's looking that direction, but he also knows players are in front of him. It's about wasting time, allowing your team an opportunity to get on the map and continue to swarm. He got 1 down, but that's also where it ended. They're gonna keep that neutral under their control while trying to get their home hill back. Monkyz just being the perfect bait with Dezonide. They're able to get 2 of those eliminations, honestly, Blaze. I think that's all they need here. Barring any miracles coming out from Oxygen, I do believe Pittsburgh Knights should close this round out and go up 2-1 in this 3rd round.
Yeah, Oxygen is not in any position to get a single miracle, not in this round. So the Knights, they continue to climb, and I think this one is going to go back and forth at least to round 6 here. We'll see if someone can come out with a definitive lead. This next round is going to be really telling, at least for me personally. You look at the weapons on the map. The retro lancers were built up. Either one of these squads can get them a shot grenade or an incendiary grenade if they choose to. Oh, but instead of going for the nade right away, they're going to start going for these secondaries. Interesting. Maybe they don't want to set the pace when it comes down to that nade battle on the flippy end. Oxygen says, okay, if you want to do it like that, you can. We'll take a shot grenade right now.
They want, to me, it just shows that they want more firepower. That momentary shot grenade's good to kind of win little moments throughout the match.
Yep.
But if you're able to use those to perfection, whether if it's a Boltok headshot across the map, a bunch of damage coming out from the retro, or even just holding down a spot with the retro, I feel like they're just hoping that lasts longer than a momentary shock.
And not just any retro, it's Monkyz with a retro. So it hits different. You know, so they're going to let him play on the island at the home hill. He'll be able to support his team throughout the mid-map and lock down that entire C hill by himself. As the Knights are stacked up with 3 players closer towards the B hill, we can see on a mini map that they're matched with Oxygen, and the Knights know it as well. So where does the play come in? Who makes the first move? These Oxygen players stacked here towards the back. They can get a counter flash come through off the side of Pushyz. I think he doesn't even have it. He has a smoke in hand. It's the Knights with the first move. 2 flashes come out. They try to wrap around the back. The stun hits. These players of Oxygen can get out for free. First blood in favor of the Knights. Both shots will connect. Zoom, not quick enough to get away. And the Knights are zooming here towards a trip cap domination. We'll see if they can complete it. They've already assessed where everybody is on the map. What a beautiful back aid there from Pushyz. Well, not a back aid, but a blind fire to win that battle and rotate to his teammate.
Yeah, that was a big elimination from Pushyz right there. And it stops them from breaking the hill. That puts all the eggs in the basket across the other side of the map. But Sumuns spawning up might be the saving grace. Getting that down along with Raver onto Abolics, forcing Pushyz back. But he's going to get stuck in the middle. Almost gets away. Misrolls on the cover. So 2 players getting taken out from Oxygen. Rocky doing what he can. That was a massive up A to take out Dezonide there. But this isn't the second half. There's no neutral hill on that side. There's no power weapon just yet. So he knows he has to keep things moving. Only 1 hill under their belt, even though they have about a 30-point lead. That's going to be gone before you know it if they don't make any positive moves. Rocky forced to back up here as he's the only player on this side of the map relying on his team to take that 3v2.
Yeah, his teammates gave him a call out to stay alive, and you know, also the Knights got the call out of how many people was on the opposite side of the map, so they quickly tried to take their 2v1. They will be able to catch Pushyz right there and find themselves a heal. This is an important decap for Oxygen, and they're being held off just briefly. The revives are there. Oxygen needs to continue to push forward. They can't get another down. Well, they can't get a down at all on these 2 members of PK rotating back. And when it comes down to Monkyz, and I believe this is Raver Whittle, they don't have to do too much. They just need to, you know, stay alive and let their opponent push them. Dezonide picked up a double kill on the opposite end.
Yeah, they know that. They realize they got that double kill, and they're just trying to stay alive. They're just being a thorn in the side. This is a fight that they don't need to fight.
Oh, no.
But he just gets chased out. Monkyz gets the decap as well. That's going to be huge. And he's just continuously wasting time, saying, no, 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 not in my house. The Pittsburgh Knights, after winning that execution, are coming out hot and get a 3-1 lead into the half.
Yeah, big round there. Monkyz, he did such a fantastic job staying alive, and you can see the communication coming in from both teams off each rotation. And those PK members over there at the D hill, they knew that they just need to stay alive. Their teammates are making big plays on the opposite end. Just be annoying, you know, give your opponent an unfavorable fight and don't give them the play in which they're expecting there when you have so much time to work with and so many objectives that the game is giving you in a late game to play around. So good job there to PK to get the 3-1 lead, and they're feeling comfortable right now. Shot grenades on the map for both squads, as well as a Botox to utilize him. We've seen he put to good use so far in the previous round.
Yeah, already doesn't. I just narrowly getting that second shot to get the down, which honestly could have been a momentum shift in that round as well. I have to rewatch back the VOD to see how much of an impact that was, but already you see 4 players over from Oxygen trying to take control of that tank, push players back, go home hill to home hill, giving up the early lead though. So you see uncontested Raver is going to go in and get that neutral hill. Shock grenade is going to buy even more time. Great shock placement from the Pittsburgh Knights, but this is where they have to be careful. Raver on that flank, he's being watched by Pushyz, so no sneaky plays coming through just yet.
Not just yet. 3v3. A cross comes in on the other side of the map from Raver. That allows Sumuns to pick up the kill on Zoom, but Raver checks up in his 1v1. PK knows that they have a 3v2 in front of him. Looking for angles going wide. The damage is there. The kills are acquired. They may push forward for more, but with the Lancer Fire coming down from Pushyz, PK knows that, hey, that positioning is going to be hard to fight for. We need to slow it down. No point of pushing for more. We got plenty.
Yep. Arc in the bus, going up 30+ points already. Even though they're not feeling the pressure just yet, Oxygen's going to have to make a move. And you already see the shift coming through. It's going to be that neutral hill, the top half of the map. Somebody's in the middle. Rocky trying to catch Dezonide off guard, but Luckily for Dezonide, I was going to say for a moment, Sumuns is there. He's going to hop down, get the revive, but they got the angles coming through. Dezonide and Sumuns forced to chain revive. Both of them have been downed out at least twice, and Rocky makes the play. He gets a double kill with the help of Zoom, and this could be the moment Oxygen needs to turn the tides.
We'll see if it's going to be just that as the E-Hill gets captured. Monkyz one flash. He can't even use it. He goes down. And these two members of Oxygen can push forward towards the spawn of PK. Get a little bit closer to help their teammates out. Get some lantern fire on any players that come off the respawn. They leave one behind as they should. Abolics gets in the hill. And this is the player they left behind, Rocky, just so he can get the angle. You see it on screen. In the end, it will be Oxygen. They cut the deficit just down by 1 round.
They gave up that early lead with Raver getting that neutral hill, but they had their goal intact. And Pittsburgh Knights did a good job with that shot grenade going around, buying as much time as possible. But as soon as that shot grenade is up, you could kind of see them use their numbers advantage on that side of the map, forcing Dezonide in towards the middle. And from there, it was just Angle City, looking like an Olympic slam, gold medalist, award-winning play coming out from Oxygen to take that round. But this is one of the things I always look at. You can have a great moment, you can have a great play, but if you don't chain it together and continue to build off of that, it's all for nothing.
Man, just looking at the feeds here, the damage between Rocky and Sumuns. Sumuns with those 16 assists, but Rocky has more damage, and he has damage on kills that haven't been acquired on his side of the map that he's putting out there. So that's why his numbers look the way that they do. It just shows how much work and which he's putting on the map, and his teammates, they really need to step it up because he's doing his part. And let's see if they can do theirs and get this one all tied up. 3-3. The shot grenade blocks off the stairs, forces these Oxygen players to rotate towards the outside. Gives Dezonide the option to control the fight, wait for help. Raver. And there's help indeed. That's the help you want. You want Monkyz. King Kong is in the building with some L triggers over the top of that ledge. A counter shock, not a counter shock, but the shock used from Oxygen and try to trap this player in the corner. Raver tried to get himself out that difficult spot with the flash, but instead a man advantage for Oxygen. We'll see what they could do with this.
Yeah, we already see the defense spread thin. Sumuns all by himself in the neutral, which creates this 3v2 opportunity. Monkyz goes down, but he got the trade on the Pushyz. He gets a second one as well. He gets taken out, but the damage has been done. There's only one player there. They get the trade. And so Raver, he just needs to keep the damage on the Rocky, not let him escape, and they'll get their home hill back. On the other side of things, Sumuns just buying time for that play to come through on the home hill.
Yeah, Sumuns knows that in his position, you know, he's just making sure his squad has a heal, but he knows when it shifts into him getting pushed into when it shifts to him being in a 1v2, he just needs to stay alive and buy time. That's what he did. But did he buy his teammates enough time? He did as well. As they're going to be able to get to their home hill, they will find 2 hills to their name. PK, they got the best 2 hills set up in the second half of Vasgar with DNF under their control. Their backs to the wall. They see everything coming at them from the front, but they just need to stack their numbers, and they've done that properly, if you ask me. It just comes down to how does Oxygen want to initiate? Is it the uphill battle of D they want to fight, or is it the level playing field of the F hill, but there's little cover there with just the one big block that's in front of the spawn?
It's looking like with the amount of time that it's taking, it's going to be one opportunity, one attempt, one shot coming out from Oxygen.
Simultaneous.
Yep. They're going to have to win both of those fights all at the same time. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, they just have somebody try to bounce out. You see Dezonide, he can roll towards the middle and actually comes through. It looks like he's going to escape by. Doesn't matter what happens here. Raver just needs to keep both of these players busy because the neutral hill is going to be intact, but there's still enough time. 10 seconds remain. Pushyz is on one side, Rocky's on the other. The cap hasn't come through just yet. Now it is less than 8 seconds remaining. Dezonide gets the down on the one. It comes down to this, and he back aids for the round. Dezonide will put the Pittsburgh Knights on top 4-2.
Drop Dezo.
Where you at now, chat?
Here. Psych.
On the side, chat.
Man, big double kill. 14,000 damage to Dezonide's name. Leading the charge for the Knights here in a must-win map for them. When it comes down to this series, we're heading into a district control next. The Knights, they haven't looked too good there. We talked about how they had to run all the round-based game modes and execution escalation. And so far in this series, they have looked like the best team when it comes down to them. A 4-2 lead in this map. Oxygen, They got to find a way to regain and step it up here. We got a block coming in on the side of PK. They want to end it now, taking out that shot grenade, but you will see Oxygen. They save onto their placement. They feel like just the upgrade on Incendiary Grenade will be enough to make up for the loss of having that shock, and they can use their block at a later round.
Match point here. Say map point. Pittsburgh Knights forward to 2. Raver gets first blooded here. It's going to be the opening that Oxygen needs. You're able to kind of get this lead, take it step by step, inch by inch. You put yourself in a great position. Monkyz, I'm about to say, narrowly escaping there. The cap's going to come through, but they set their eyes on the Monkyz. That shock grenade a little bit too far, not creating the proper amount of separation, but at the right time, Raver getting that revive to come through to keep Monkyz alive. On the other side of things, Dezonide is only going to be able to get it down. So with all said and done, this initial nobody, or at least only one player getting taken out, Oxygen have the early lead.
Now, Oxygen, how are they going to hold on to this? They get it down on Monkyz. Raver transfers that damage. He knows that he can't go for the revive. Instead, he goes for putting out more damage. And it works out. He says, no, 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 sir. Help comes through. The revive is there. And PK can spread out, get themselves another heal, and get themselves some more map position.
Yep, have some coming back to do, but with the second hill under their control, they're not getting pressed just yet, so they're going to have some time to set up in the setup in which they want, get the information that is vital to figure out where this push is going to come through, and that spot on Abolics was huge. Because you see that player coming off of respawn, that allows Raver to kind of push up because he knows where his closest opposition is at. And this is where you see him kind of backtrack, get himself in the most advantageous position that he feels comfortable in. And then he gets that early damage onto Abolics. With this angle here, there's very few spots Abolics can kind of push in to go ahead and gain control. But Raver's just backing up little by little, especially with those downs coming through on the other side of the map. But a double kill coming out from Rocky that alleviates the pressure off of Abolics.
Alleviate a lot of pressure off of them. They find a third kill, the fourth on screen. Abolics can't get the shot. The help is coming.
Wow.
Finally, he loses the battle to Raver, and Raver will keep the E-Hill in his favor. That fight right there would have won them around, but instead they got to keep on going.
Yep. Can't give up just yet. Shock grenade in the hands of Monkyz, and if I'm Monkyz, I got the shock grenade, I got the retro. I just parked the bus at one spot. Don't let anybody pass them, and you can already see he's choosing that neutral hill in E. 2v2 going down, but a rotation coming through from Zoom. Shock grenade towards the backside, forcing Rocky out. Lots of damage, but no kills being cleaned up just yet. Raver, though, gets the last laugh, gets the double kill, and that could be it for the Pittsburgh Knights. Monkyz on the other side of things and keeping it going. Dezonide finds it on Zoom and Pushyz. That's going to be a team wipe. That is going to be a round victory, and that is going to be the map for the Pittsburgh Knights as they take control of the series 2-1.
We talked about it, man. The Knights, they win an important map in this series, 5-2 on Vasgar. But that man on your screen, 18 kills. 15 kills, 8 deaths, 11 assists, and 18k damage. Dezonide did it all here in this map. I believe that was Raver behind him, or Monkyz with 21 assists. Oh, that's a beautiful stat line. Anytime you see a player with over 20 assists, you give him a pat on the back. You give him a pat on the back. But so far, so good, man. It's been a great series between these two teams, Jacob. And the Knights, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. And they showed that they have a ton more experience when it comes down to this map and game mode combo.
Yep, and it goes to show these round-based game modes, Oxygen, they just didn't have the answer. But I think that's one of the kind of double-edged swords. They're very, very aggressive. They get so in your face. It's one of those things to where once they start to falter like that, it's hard for them to get out of that aggressive mindset. And that's why I talk about them being one of the kind of leading aggressive teams. And I say one of because there's a few in Gears Esports right now coming into control. That's going to suit them. As long as they can shrug off this loss and continue to look forward, not change up too much, we can go to a map number 5 before you know it.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. It's gonna be now. After this map, well, let's start talking about district control because that's kind of what's on my mind. District, I think the Knights is a good district control team. I just think when it comes down to the control fundamentals and everything it takes to be a great squad, Oxygen does that a ton better. You know, but as far as the 4 maps in the map cycle, top 2 map here for PK when it comes down to control, from how I've seen them kind of perform in the past. But I talked about it. When it comes down to rotating early, playing for power weapons, assessing your numbers, being able to control the pace of the game, those 4 important qualities that it takes to be a dominant control team, I don't feel like the Knights can do all 4 at once. Okay, I just feel like they are a little bit sluggish going from playing for each objective, and they can get lost chasing down kills at times, which put them into some bad spots. So we'll see how composed that they can be in district control, because if they can stay composed and get off to an early lead and play with that lead, rotating early, going from hill to hill and controlling the pace, I think they can take this one 3-1. But it's going to be hard to do. How do you feel about it, Jacob?
And I kind of agree with you here. To me, there's a few question marks here. On the side of Oxygen, you lost 2 straight maps after, I wouldn't say just dominating, but taking it to Pittsburgh Knights in that control map. You're able to stagger them out and show that you can bang with the best of them. You go to an execution. You falter, I do believe, 6-2. You go to escalation, 5-2, back-to-back round-based game modes. And now you have to be able to kind of shrug that off. Do you have what it takes? On the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, in that first control match, like I said, I don't believe there was any hills, if not many, that they scored more than 30 points off, less than 50% every single time. That came through because of the aggression, the staggering of the deaths, and the non-stop war that Oxygen was able to kind of put on. I think just in this stage of the game, how refreshed can Oxygen come into this map number 4, and how much momentum has Pittsburgh Knight been able to build? Because Oxygen are able to come off hot, win some power weapons on district, get the boom shot, get the instants and early control. They can really delete that momentum and force Pittsburgh Knights on the back foot, similar to map number 1.
Now, when it comes down to these 2 maps, you know, the 2 control maps that we have in this cycle, district control and Regency, I think they require 2 different skill sets to be dominant on, because Regency, with it being as big as it is and all the lanes in throughout the mid map that it has, it pays when squads are disciplined and they can rotate early. They got some strong setups with that Lancer fire, and you know, I feel like the smarter teams, when it comes down in our league, they dominate with that map. Yeah. But district control, with the hills being a little bit closer, and this map being really a staple in our community since Gears of War 5 has dropped, meaning that it's more familiar than some of the other maps that we have in our cycle. But PK, if they get to a point where they are playing at a fast pace, they're going from kill to kill, and they're vibing, right? They're collecting points and they're dominant. I don't think Oxygen will be able to take the pace back from them and match their energy blow for blow. So Oxygen has to figure out how to slow this game down early on, because I think PK is not going to be successful with a slowed down district against this Oxygen team. They have to set the pace in a fast manner, let Raver off his chain, let him go out there and pick up multiple kills, go wild, him and Dezo, and then let Sumuns and Monkyz get all the dirty work done, you know, rotating for heals, locking down the spawn. Of course, it's a team effort, but PK needs to get off to an early lead and have some fun and start slaying out if they want to take down his Oxygen squad on a control game mode.
Yeah, and one of the things that I kind of liked how you differentiated between the maps of district, it's more intimate, more close quarters combat fight, whether it's the shotgun, the pistol, or the Lancer. So one of the biggest things that we need to see teams be very, very aware of, and I know I kind of caught it on EU United versus Hive on the same map, is the usage and control of the boom shot and the instants, and not only the actual usage and the execution, but of knowing when to go for the hill, when to go for the power weapons, to use them for 20 seconds, use them for the next hill. That's going to be a very, very important thing to note at, and which one of these teams is going to kind of capitalize on that aspect. So if you're able to kind of control boom shot after boom shot, that just makes it that much easier. But we show it's not everything, because in that same matchup, United versus Hive, even though Hive controlled the majority of the boom shots, it was still respectably close by United to kind of answer and nullify that boom shot as many times as possible. So it's not the importance alone on getting the boom shot under your control, it's utilizing it at the right moment.
Yeah, utilizing it at the right moment. I fully agree with you. And when it comes down to district, the incendiary grenades, if you are able to hold on to them and you have the money hills, well, they become money hills, and that's arcade and hotel in the bottom left and right of the mini map. Exactly. They become money hills when you have those incendiary grenades, because then you're able to block off the stairs point that can negate and negate that hill and make it a stalemate until you can move a player off that position. but each nade is going to net you about 15 seconds a point on your score, and your opponent can't do anything about it because their next play is to run into Lancer Fire and open down the stairs to contest, and they're not going to do that. So, but the two strongest hills on this map has to be the ATM hill and the Pergola hill, because I just feel like the spawn influence on those hills make it that much more difficult for you to be able to capture. Because if you come in from hotel and arcade at the bottom portions of the map, you have to deal with taking that player out the spawn on an even playing field almost, right? You have to run across a lot of open area to get to him, and it's players set up there all towards the back. And if you want to approach it from cinema, you got the narrow choke point of the doorway to go through. You know, juice and info is viable, but that Lantern Fire and the spawn is strong. So I just consider those to be the money hills. And I'm going to get us into this map number 4, the Knights versus Oxygen. Let's see if Oxygen can get us to a game number 5, as they're going to be in this hill picking up multiple kills. The Knights still on the outskirts though. 2 downs coming in from Dezo. The pistol fire is there. He's able to get a pistol kill with Abolics being on his 3rd down. And the Knights have majority of their players in this area of the map. Oxygen, they need to get here quickly because Pushyz and Zoom needs all the help they can get.
Oh, but look at this. They're going to lose that up top fight for the actual hill, giving up that early score line, but they get the boom shot into the hands of Rocky.
I like the
so they sacrifice the time, exactly, especially since you got to think 24 seconds already scored, 30 seconds left, so about 42 max points up for grabs for the Pittsburgh Knights, but Oxygen is already setting up for control over the next 75 seconds.
All right, so when it comes down to incendiary grenades, I haven't seen them picked up on the map just yet. Player 8 says, "Oh my God, they're here. Let's grab them." Right. So I talked about this arcade hill becoming a money hill if you do have these nades. Now I love the rotation there from Rocky saying, "Hey, we don't got this lane covered. Let's shift back." They want to switch up personnel though because they want to keep the incendiary grenades closer to the fight, and I do think that's the right play. But Oxygen, man, they got a lot of mid-map control. They're waiting for the Knights to come through. One nade tossed a little bit early. Knights trying to clear out juice. They will be able to find a kill on Zoom. 3v3 on the map. A counter incendiary grenade does not stop the players from coming down the stairs. Both weak, but where's the help that Rocky needs to defend? He's been fighting this one by himself for a while. And the Knights will be able to walk down low and get control.
That's why I always talk about the timing, the usage of those boom shots. He got a kill with it, but they got rewarded absolutely nothing on the side of Oxygen there after that first hill. And now they're kind of fighting for their lives. Abolics being pushed back. Sumuns holding his ground. He's going to go ahead and let him live in there because he knows they still have to work to push into him unless they're going to try to lock PK into the spot, not let anybody down and put their eggs into the next hill.
I'm not mad at his boom because his boom ultimately got them in good positioning. I'm mad at him for those incendiary grenades that he tossed in for his teammates, not at least one teammate not being with him to defend that hill. So that's where I think that they messed up in that play. In the end, man, the Knights, they're picking up the back end of the scrap time once again. So Oxygen needs to use this opportunity to rotate early. And it looks like they will get into position in time. Abolics goes to the furthest corner of the map as we rotate towards ATM. The boom shot was picked by Zoom, but you talked about the usage before. Let's see if he can have a better first shot with it, his first and only shot, as it only spawns with one. He needs to use it at the right time.
I like how he's waiting right now, being as patient as possible because of the differences in the pickup between the boom shot and the instants. They're not going to be up just yet, so whoever loses this fight is going to have an opportunity with those instants, and it looks like PK is going to be forced back. They're not going to be able to take that fight, so it gives up the early control to Oxygen.
Yeah, and Oxygen, they do a fantastic job getting in this position. It's off the back of Abolics really beating PK here because he gets there 3 seconds later. PK has a right-hand advantage, pushing him back outside the door, and they could have had positioning over this hill. It was that close. The more early control here of Oxygen. And I mistakenly said beforehand that PK was kind of fighting for scrap time off the back of these hills. I was mistaken off the scoreboard because Oxygen has just tied it up and taken the lead. But I do feel like, I feel like Oxygen has been rotating early for each one. Even if they haven't won the battles, they're doing a great job thinking ahead of the game. The boom connects. Kill traded off with Incendiary. One more in the hand of PK. They have a man advantage on this side of the map as well, but Oxygen doing a good job holding this choke point.
Yeah, they're doing a good job overall, keeping the Pittsburgh Knights out of the hill towards the very ending portion. That was a good amount of time, though, scored by Oxygen. And because of the when they died right there, you see all 4 members getting granted that spawn, almost like a miracle of sorts. But Dezonide putting in that work, getting both of those eliminations, pushing Rocky back. So such a great spawn going over to Oxygen is just nullified by great defensive stops coming out from Dezonide. And they're going to try to keep these deaths staggered. Monkyz has to win this fight against Abolics. Another boom shot in the hands of Sumuns. I do believe that's going to be their first boom shot being rewarded here between both of these two teams. And how much can they utilize it? Right now, they have about a 2-point lead, but that one is out the window.
Yeah, it's going to be right out the window there. Now, as you're going to see the slight lead in favor of Oxygen, they're going to be fortified around this lower hill. PK spawning at the top end of the map. PK, they're going to hop in juice. Beautiful first kill for them. They're going to push Oxygen back closer towards the hill. Dezonide coming in from hotel finds a kill. His teammates are there. Dezonide finds the double. Give him the triple. Drop Dezo. Psych.
Yeah, plus mine. You think Dezo is going to tweet that after this if they win? With how great he's performed?
100%.
He's not even going to say GG. He's just going to go ahead and tweet out, drop Dezonide, as the Pittsburgh Knights have reclaimed the lead right back, 107-106. They're trying to get in position of this hill, but they've got to work for that top spawn as well on the other side, and that's going to be Raver trying to do what he can, but his teammates get put into the blender. Sumuns and Monkyz just get absolutely dominated on this exchange, but Dezonide on one side of the map, Sumuns trying to, or I should say that was Raver trying to be sneaky up top. He falls as well, so it looks like even though the Pittsburgh Knights got control, a 9-second lead, it's all out the window.
All out the window indeed. Now, scrap time there towards the center hill. Oxygen has already rotated over towards Pergola. They're going to get set up. This has pretty much been, if you ask me, every rotation has been even between these two teams. They split off majority of each hill. Only a slight nudge in between each rotation. But in the end, this is as close as it gets here, folks, okay? As we're watching Oxygen defend PK, we're gonna watch it from their standpoint of breaking the hill. The flash goes in. He didn't get a hit marker, so he's worried about his right. Here comes help on the inside. Instead, Pushyz gets a great one there, a great shot. Not enough to clean up the kill. Here comes the players here from the flank. Dezonide finds one. Pushyz takes out Raver. Oxygen has majority of their players alive to win this fight, and they're gonna push back the Knights. Boom shots respawned up in middle, and new incendiary grenades in 22 seconds.
Yeah, right now it's just been back and forth on each one of these hills, kind of trading off, getting the majority of the time. A big double kill from Rocky. That's going to get them a good amount of time on this hill with 30 seconds left. They got the boom shot in their hands. You talked about Incense being up soon as well. They have a chance to really take control almost everything on the map. And if they get this elimination on Monkyz, can include staggering the deaths of the Pittsburgh Knights on that list. But this man, slippery as can be, figuring out a way to stay alive. But finally, he meets his demise, gets taken out by Pushy, but Rocky still has that boom shot ready for the next hill.
Now he needs to save that boom shot to the last possible second. As we're about to head on over towards hotel, Pushyz gets crossed out. Zoom gets taken out. 2 quick kills come in. Dezonide with a beautiful back A. The boom's missed. And a terrible executed play on the side of Oxygen.
That was much needed. That was much. That last hill,
wonderful defense from him.
Yeah, that last hill, PK was outscored 6 to about 55. So they really needed this defensive stop to reclaim the lead. That shows to show back and forth between both of these teams. One team getting control, successfully defending it, pushing them off. In the next rotation, the other team has control, pushing them off. And you see all 4 members with 50 seconds left from Auction staggered towards the low portions of the map. They're going to sacrifice about 20 seconds here to make one attempt, one push onto this new hill.
We'll see if it's the right play. We just got another lead change in this map, folks. It is that close. Who do you want to win? The team fight's about to break out. Multiple flashes and nades going down at the hotel. But the shot's coming in from Dezonide. He's able to get one, can get the second. He needs Raver to go big, but it's Pushyz with the aggression. Able to clean up both kills. 22 seconds left. This is going to be, it's going to get nullified. But Sumuns says, no, I'm going in. I want the points. Abolics, he has the cleanup. He's going to bring the lead back in favor of Oxygen as we're going to rotate go towards our second rotation of heals. The reset is back here at Cinema, and PK has the early setup. That's 2 for Dezo. Couldn't get the third, but he assists on the cleanup. The Knights, they're ready for another rotation.
To get another boom shot granted, puts it to use, immediately picks up his Lancer again. He's just staggering out the death as much as possible. These are those situations where it's this chaotic in the game, you don't want to die with the boom shot, and you don't want to use it at a bad time, as Monkyz just doing everything he can, staying alive, getting another one, finally taken out by Pushyz. They get the incendiary grenades as well. Excuse me, there was Rocky getting that elimination, but it's going to be the Pittsburgh Knights getting this score line racking up as we got a reset nails. It's going to be rotation number 2. And this is where it all started. 30-24 was the scoreline after the first hill, and this has been dead even ever since.
Oh, dead even, boy. This is one of the closest controls that we've ever seen on a hill-by-hill basis. No team ever to, like, accumulate even more than a 30-point lead, it seems like, over the last few that we've had. 2 kills coming in for Oxygen. They find the third, and they will muscle their way through to get the last portions of this time, which will pretty much bring us down there to a high game once again. Okay, folks, that's how close this series have been. I may sound like a broken record, but man, doesn't the record sound great?
I mean, yeah, I was about to say, at least it's a good record, a hit record. A great, entertaining matchup between these two teams. A great test for Oxygen with how far they've come, but a must-win battle for the Pittsburgh Knights because their season has not been their best, and this is exactly why each of these teams, blood, sweat, and tears, everything is being laid onto the battlefield as Rocky trying to escape yet again. They get the spawn point at the top, and this is going to be much-needed high ground for them, but a flank coming through from Monkyz again, able to get one down, beginning to stagger out the death. Rocky falls as well. Monkyz was the perfect distraction. A ball is getting some support towards the bottom, though. Great Lancer fire. If he can pick up these eliminations, that will be huge. He gets a down onto one, but it's not going to be able to clean up. Reinforcements are there. About to push his ball. PK will hold on.
Oh my God, it's like a battle of play styles here. With this map being so close and so intense, PK have kind of reverted back to their bread and butter, their identity, that Wolfpack play style, as they are in packs of 3s with Monkyz on an island supporting the group. They are slaying out, getting into as many fights as they can, but good fights here for them to be able to get points. Oh, Monkyz almost got another one right there, but he gets taken out. But the opposite play style here for Oxygen. Spacing, Lancers, teamwork, the objective play. They are working as a unit. Muscles versus brains. Who comes out on top with it so far is looking like a flex from PK with the lead that they have. But here comes Oxygen. They take out 2 and a teammate, but they will be able to acquire the time in which they need here. As far as the scrap time goes, there's something there, but Dezonide, drop him with the 17K. He doesn't need to be on this squad.
Where's the chat? Who started that chat? I'm about to go look in the VOD replay, see who started the chat, but right now it's just been all PK pulling away from this one. And honestly, Sumuns dying to that boom shot was a great success story. Not only did you get him to waste the boom shot, that which I was thinking could save for this hill to break open, get that window and take over, but he got him to eliminate his teammate as well, which kind of evens up the scoreline. Now Pittsburgh Knights can win off of this hill. Oxygen just need to keep them out because they cannot win off of this hill, and you see the defense being spread thin. They have the high ground, denying opportunity after opportunity. Zoom goes down. Revive's coming through. A big shot by Raver. Another down coming through as they continuously, they're forced to chain Revive, and there it goes. The final elimination coming through. Rocky falls. A team wipe for PK late into the game. Like I said, they can win off of this hill, Blaze.
One last team fight here from Oxygen. Do they have what it takes to come away with this series? I can only imagine what the comms sound like now, but they don't have much time to execute, folks. Here it comes. They're getting a little bit closer. They have to clear out the player at Cinema. Sumuns, if he stays alive here, they don't have a chance, but Zoom comes up clutch. 20 seconds on the clock till PK wins. Abolics can't break through. He needs help to come through for the front. The smoke is there. Zoom is cleaned up. Good shots coming in from Pushyz, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough for the Oxygen fans. The Knights come back through. They win it in map number 4, 300 to 216, and they take this series 3-1.
That was a massive victory for PK and PK fans all around. I talk about it being a huge test for both of these teams, and honestly, I'm glad PK won it. My hope, my dreams, my Latin American love will continue to run deep, and the hopes of the Latin American region will remain alive throughout the season.
Wow. 20K for 20K to end the game, man. What a performance here throughout these 4 maps the Knights put on. But more importantly, we got to give a lot of love to the man himself, Dezonide. He had a great performance every single map, but I still think you should drop Dezonide.
Hey, man, it wouldn't be a meme otherwise, but honestly, you got to give it all to the Pittsburgh Knights. Like I said, they've just been so inconsistent. We know they have the skill to back up this type of performance. We know they have the skill to reach the grand finals because they've done it before. It's just about being consistent and holding on to when you need it most. They did a good job here, but the season isn't over yet.
Yeah, no, the season is far from over. And wins like these, man, you know, the Knights need to build up their confidence as we get ready for the summer major coming up at the end of the month, because they haven't looked good as of late. But, you know, I hope they go back and rewatch this one and understand that their identity is going to come from execution and escalation, these round-based game modes. They got to learn how to have fun in the control. They got to figure out how to make it their own here. I love the shift of their playstyle towards the late portions of the game as they were relying on each other, wolf packing around a map, finding kills as a unit. And we talked about this one coming into it, that it's going to be different than Regency. Okay, the fights are going to play out differently because of how close the hills are and how the flow of district works out. The Knights, man, it worked out for them in their favor. And everything came together towards the back end of the series.
I'm just waiting for one replay if we do have it here, and I'm gonna let you know. But that was the moment of the match. It was the win for PK, but it was also the loss. I want to say maybe right here, maybe not as well, but it's definitely not right here. But it's that moment with the boom shot. They had a 3v1, Blaze. A 3v1. It was before this hill, so we're not going to see it. A 3v1 against Sumuns. Not only, like I said, did he get him to use the boom shot, he forced a team kill to come through. They had no business in the world using that boom shot. And you got to think, like I said in the moment, and I'll say it here yet again, if they have that boom shot on rotation, that's not an easy hold for the Pittsburgh Knights. They can't Lancer him out deep into the spawn, and Oxygen is keeping this one going. It doesn't end on that hill because they can't win off of that hill, but all you need is an opportunity to keep the game alive if you're Oxygen, and that opportunity is all you need.